This is All Access MMA.
My next guest has got a new opponent. He's now going to be taking on Gabriel Benitez July 17th at UFC Fight Night. It is Billy Quarantillo back here on the program. Before we get into this replacement fight, I wanted to talk first about you linking up with Iridium Sports, one of the big management companies who just got their first champion over the weekend with Brandon Moreno winning the title. How did this all come together?
Yeah, I've known Jason for a long time. He actually reached out to me when long before I was in the UFC. I looked back at my messages, when it became official, and it was in 2018. He actually reached out to me kind of at a bad time. It was when I had a torn ACL, and I was kind of just working my way up. So at the time, I was like, all right, I'm good. I got my head coach, Matt Arroyo, who's kind of handling things for me, not really knowing, the capabilities of Jason House and what they were going to produce. But like I said, I didn't really have much going on. So a few months went, basically years went by. Me and Jason kept in contact. We were actually supposed to meet for lunch, which is kind of funny. We were supposed to meet for lunch last year around this time. We were both in Vegas. I was actually there for one of Ferrola's fights, and that's when I tested positive for COVID. So we actually had to cancel the meeting then, where I think it probably would have, we probably would have worked something out at that point. But still, I wasn't able to talk to him then. We kind of both just did our own thing. And then I think Jason did the right thing. He got our head coach / manager at the time, Matt Arroyo, who I think loyalty is huge in this sport. I've been loyal to Arroyo this whole time. But there was definitely some things that Arroyo just isn't able to do. He doesn't have all the connections. So now Jason's on board, Iridium's on board. We're all super, super happy to get this deal done. And coming from the top, going through Arroyo, I think was the right way to do it. And now, we're going to see how far we can take this thing.
Very cool. Yeah, like I said, great reputation and manages a ton of fighters on the roster, which is nice too because, there's a lot of options in terms of matchups and all that. But you haven't fought since December, or at least I was looking back. I forgot it's been that long. Was this by design? Did you want this much time off, or were you having a hard time getting a fight?
No, it was basically by design. I knew after the last fight, I was on a 9-fight winning streak, and then I lost the fight to Gavin Tucker. And then I think it was time to kind of recalibrate what I was doing. I just fought 3 fights in 2020. And, basically the second half of 2020, basically like 6 or 7 months. There was a few things I had to do. I had to get eye surgery because my eyesight was terrible. So every fight that you've seen me in up until this point, I either had contacts in, which usually got knocked out. At least one of them would get knocked out, and I would have blurred vision, or I would fight with no contacts. And, your vision's pretty important when you're, missing by a centimeter with punches. So I had to get my eyes fixed. Then I got married in March. Shout out to my wife.
That's right. Congrats, by the way. I forgot to mention that. How did everything go?
Thank you. Yeah, it's all good, man. Things have been going quick. So, and then, of course, just, coming off a loss, I just wanted to recalibrate and just get better. I'm still learning. I've only been in this sport for about 10 years, and there's still new stuff being produced. I'm still getting better every single day. So having that loss, kind of calculating everything that I'm doing, this time off will be huge for me, and I think right now is the best that I've ever been, and it's going to show July 17th.
That's awesome. And I had no idea. I knew you had, I remember in our interviews, I think you wore glasses or something, but I didn't know that it was that bad, like during the fight. I think maybe you mentioned it, but I didn't think much of it. But now that I think about it, it's like having full vision, that's a big plus now, in your fights, right? Not having to worry about your contacts either. Yeah,
and it was something I should have done a long time ago. But, again, everything, when you're winning, everything, it's fine. Mm-hmm. And then, this last fight, going into the later rounds, just being completely blurry, not to make excuses because Gavin was definitely a better fighter. But, it really just didn't make sense anymore not to get it done. It cost me I think $4,000 cash. And, it's definitely going to be worth it. I have no problem with my vision, and I've been able to spar probably about 20 times since I've got it done, and I haven't had any issues. So it's going to be just a bit of relief knowing that you can't knock out one of my contacts easily and take away most of my vision. So it's going to be exciting going into this one.
And just me being a business person, I just think of the investment there, right? Because if you win, you're probably going to get more than $4,000. You know what I mean? So it's like it kind of pays for itself if you can go out there and get the win as opposed to not getting that win bonus. So
it's a very small investment. So I'm super excited for this one.
Switch up an opponent, like I mentioned, Herbert Burns out. Now you're fighting Gabriel Benitez. How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
Yeah, I really do like the matchup. I know everyone says that, I'm better everywhere, yada, yada, yada. But I do like the matchup. He's been in the UFC for a long time. He's got a lot of film on him. He does a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again. He's very good at what he does. Totally different style than Herbert, which I'm glad they gave me a long time. This wouldn't be a great I'm glad that this isn't like a week out because his style is so differently, and I probably still would take the fight anyway. This is what we do, but I love that I can study a lot of his film, and I know what I'm up against, and I do feel like I really do feel like I match up really well with him. So it's in the Apex again. I'm very comfortable there. The opponent, another lefty. I just fought a lefty, and there were some things that I didn't do, which I should have done. So I love the matchup. He's a super, super tough guy. I've seen him like almost break his leg in a fight, and he just keeps throwing that kick over and over again. So I'm with all my coaches. We're game planning and scheming, and July 17th, it's going to be fireworks.
Are you doing your camp in Florida, or are you back in New York? What's sort of been the training camp looking like ahead of this fight?
So far it's been mostly here in Tampa. We've done it with my head coach, Matt Arroyo. That's where my primary coach is, my primary training camp is. Tomorrow, actually, I'm headed up to Buffalo, like Lewiston, New York, where I grew up. I'm going to teach a seminar up there on Saturday. So if you guys are going to the seminar, it's going to be nice. And then I'm going to go to Long Island for the week and get some training in with Ray Longo, Matt Serra's crew, Matt Frivola, my boy. We're going to get some good looks, and every time I go up there, I just feel like I'm at home, and it's just basically a full week of the only thing we're focusing on is training. So it's always a good mix-up. I try to do it at least once at training camp just to get different looks, different vibes, and then when I come back, we'll finish up in Tampa and head out to Vegas before the fight.
Are you a Buffalo sports fan then?
Oh, yeah, huge Bills fan. Unfortunately, a Sabres fan. They've been rebuilding for the last about 10 years.
Man, I feel bad for you guys because Jack Eichel wants out, and it looks like they're trying to trade him to get something. But I mean, it's tough, right? You got one of your big superstars, and it's bad luck, honestly. Like with with some of the stuff, like the picks haven't panned out, and then just coaches. Like they brought in a soccer coach in Ralph Kruger last year, which I don't get. So I don't know. I do feel for you though, but it's funny because a lot of obviously I used to live in Toronto. A lot of Toronto fans are Buffalo Bills fans because it's so close. So that's kind of interesting. It's like everyone's always rooting for them.
Yeah. They got the Blue Jays playing in Buffalo now, which is pretty cool. I've been seeing some of my friends going to the games there. I kind of feel bad for Jack because he is so talented, and his team's been. He doesn't really have a lot of help around him, but more importantly, the Bills have been looking good. Josh Allen's my guy. And I think these next couple of years are going to be really interesting. We're Super Bowl-less, and that's definitely like a hope of mine that they get it done. Within the next few years, I can go back up to Buffalo and party with everyone, and that would just be an epic time.
Yeah, great city, by the way. I know it doesn't get enough love, but I covered the UFC event there with Cormier and Anthony Johnson, and that arena's awesome. And I had a great weekend there. It was a really good place, in terms of New York. You mentioned we were talking about bad luck there. How's Matt Frivola doing? I mean, this guy's got the worst luck ever. He's had how many opponent switch-ups, and then he gets Terrence McKinney at the last minute, and I know obviously not the result he wanted, but how's Matt doing?
Yeah, he's doing all right. I was cornering him for that fight in Phoenix these last a few days ago. Just tough situation. It's one of those things that I don't think a lot of fighters would have taken the fights that he's taken, in Abu Dhabi.
So Yukin, and then he's because you're supposed to fight Zayatar.
His opponent switched last minute. So this was the fifth fight in a row that either got canceled fight week or his opponent switched, within a couple days of the fight. So it's just really, really bad luck. And, obviously not the result we wanted, but you live and you learn. And we're going to see him back in the UFC. I'm going to see him next week, and we're going to get some good training in. And, it was rough on him, but he'll be back. And I'm excited to see, this sport's the highest highs, lowest lows. We've seen, Jose Aldo get knocked out in a few seconds. So it could happen to literally anyone out there. And we're gonna remember how he bounces back from this. And I'm super excited to see that.
I imagine he'll be in your corner for this fight?
Yes. Yeah, Matt Frivola will be cornering me. It'll be my original crew. Matt Arroyo, who's been with me for pretty much all 33 fights. My striking coach, my Muay Thai coach, Dan Rawlings, and, of course, my boy Matt Frivola. We'll head out there about a week early, get acclimated to that Apex, that Vegas weather, and handle business. How's
this fight playing out on July 17th?
It's just going to be absolute fireworks. Watching Gabriel Benitez's highlights, he just brings it every time. He's going to hit you hard. no matter who you are, you got to be very precise with what you're doing. I got to be very smart. He's not one of these guys that I could just wear down. I've had fights where I knew if I just got him to the second round or the third round, I knew I could beat him. He's not one of those guys that gasses out. He's at a really good gym, American Kickboxing Academy, and it's just going to be absolute fireworks. I'm going for the finish. I want to be an exciting fighter, win, lose, or draw. I always want to, them to say, man, Billy Q, that fight was crazy. You're an exciting fighter. So I'm going there to take his head off. He's going there to take my head off. And let the best man win. We
see the sign there in the background, the QCast. How's all your stuff outside the cage going? Because I know you mentioned last time you were doing some commentary as well. How's all that stuff going?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Yeah, my QCast is kind of just my little home office that I made during the pandemic last year. I love the commentary. Shout out to David Hudson. Shout out to Jay Adams, my commentary partner. Standout fighting tournament, not championship. Standout fighting tournament in Brazil. Been loving doing the English commentary for them. I actually had a chance to go. They're actually going to fly me out to Brazil to commentate in person. Unfortunately, it's the week before my fight, so I had to say no. So I'm hoping to get out to Brazil. I'm hoping to see all those guys in person. But yeah, it's been going really good, man. I love doing commentary. Anything MMA related, I just love doing. I love coaching. I love fighting, obviously. I love commentating. I'm teaching a seminar this week, so and as long as I'm doing MMA, making money for it, it's just what I love to do. So I'm just blessed to be in this position I'm in.
And just last thing, because I know you're a Barstool guy like myself, you watch all their content. What did you think? The big news, I think, was recently Call Her Daddy podcast leaving Barstool, going to Spotify. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. I actually saw Portnoy talking about it.
Yeah, I was literally watching that clip before you got on here, actually,
okay.
You mentioned it. Yeah.
I've never actually, surprised or not, I've never actually listened to Call Her Daddy. I don't even know what it's about. I know it does really, really well. Obviously, I heard it's like a multi-million-dollar deal. So, I can't hate on it. Go get your bread. And, anytime someone's winning, making money, I can't hate on it. So it doesn't look like Portnoy's too upset about it.
No, apparently they're keeping the merch or something I was hearing, but she's obviously moving on. But that was sort of bound to happen. Apparently she's getting like $20 million a year. It's crazy. So,
man, good for her. That's why I got to start a podcast.
Exactly.
No, good for her.
Your wife might like it. It's like girls like locker room talk basically, but it's like actually pretty good. Like even guys will listen to it too. I've listened to a few episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never listened to it, but good for her. I'm happy for her. I stick to my Robbie Fox and Portnoy and Big Cat and those, PFT. Those are my guys over at Barstool. But yeah, good for her. Go get that money, and I'm definitely not hating on her because that's good for her. That's awesome.
Can't wait for this fight, July 17th. Billy, anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Oh, no, just follow me, Billy Q MMA, pretty much on all platforms. And, July 17th, it's going to be an absolute dogfight. Thanks, everyone, for the support. And, of course, James, thank you for always having me, man. Always a great time chatting with you.